Welcome to part 3 of the Anna Kepner case updates. If you stuck with me for this long, thank you, appreciate it. Um, if you have not watched part 1 and 2 of this series, I would suggest going to my profile and watching those first. It will help lay the foundation for part 3. So back to, we were just wrapping up talking about Anna's uncle, Martin Donahue, and the statement that he put out. And I just wanted to mention as well with this that, it brings up mentioning banning family members from a remembrance is another statement I saw on social media is that in Titusville, Florida, is that there just seems to be like a lot of pressure that everything seems so tight-lipped. Um, it's awkward, right? I can't imagine how the remembrance is about to go down tomorrow. To be honest, I don't think that the stepmother should show up, if I'm being completely honest, because I think the important thing to think about here is Anna's memory and what is best, like, kind of for her and her celebration and her friends that are going to be there and the family members. Realistically, Chantel met Chris Kepner in 2023, in late 2023. Okay, so I'm sorry, but it's just not necessarily the right thing to do. I have a bad feeling that there's going to just be a lot of animosity and it won't go well. Um, and I think at somebody's last remembrance like that, that would be devastating on top of everything else going on. Like, I just hope that Anna gets the celebration they want to give her. I know I saw that they're asking people to not wear black, and her favorite color was blue, to wear bright colors. And I love that about it. I think that's great. I believe in celebration of life, right? Let's remember people for the way they were, not the way that they left. Now, we are going to go into some more statements and social media posts. Before that, I did forget to mention one piece of information relevant to the court records with Chantel Hudson and her ex-husband, Thomas Hudson. And it just gives another key piece of information into things that are going on, which seem to be quite difficult to say in their personal lives. Um, and that was a part of this emergency motion for the temporary relief that was filed on Monday. Chantel's ex-husband, Thomas Hudson, he had revealed that the couple's oldest child, who's 18 years old, he had actually moved in with Thomas Hudson after an alleged, quote, violent altercation, end quote, between himself, Chantel, and her new husband, Chris Kempner. So I don't know what that is, what that entails, but just more insight. There's some stuff that was obviously going on there. And it brought about concerns for Thomas Hudson and the rest of his children. Chantel did respond to that accusation, and she has simply said that she denies the eldest child was involved in a violent altercation, and she has denied, of course, again, that she has denied Hudson time sharing under the terms of their custody plan. Now, another family member stepped forward as well, and here we have a photo of Heather Wright, and she claims to be the biological mother of Anna Kepner. And this is what she said, quote, she spoke out on TikTok. She said, my beautiful baby girl was found dead Friday, and I just found out last night, Heather wrote on TikTok on Tuesday, November 11th, adding that, quote, her dad and stepmom didn't even try to contact me. So I'm going to give that to God and let him sort it out, along with whoever did this to my baby girl, end quote. Heather also stated, Anna Marie, I miss you so much. You have no idea how shattered I am over this. Please forgive me for not being there. I'm so sorry. So just for some context, from what I've been able to see and understand, is Heather was not really in Anna's life. And from what I have been able to see as well from court records, Heather's had a very difficult life and made some bad choices. You can kind of hear that in the way she said, please forgive me for not being there. I'm so sorry. There's just homelessness. There's been some drug arrests, DUIs and stuff. There's just been some difficulties in her life. And she wasn't there, but she said that she wasn't there. So I just want to acknowledge that if you're wondering, where has she been? But again, this was Christopher's first wife and the mother to Anna. Now, the other thing is that Heather has a sister, Crystal, right? And Crystal, she also spoke out, and she spoke out on Facebook on Monday, November 17th. And she said, "The only thing I know is that she was with her dad on a cruise. Anything after that, your guess is as good as mine," she wrote. "I will find out from her dad what the cause of her death was once he knows." As for Heather, Crystal added, "We are all very confused as to why Chris felt my sister didn't need to know. I feel that all personal feelings from their marriage and whatnot should be set aside. This is both of their daughter, and they're both grieving whether he wants to acknowledge it or not. It is killing my sister terribly." Um, and I agree with this. No matter what any families go through, when there are children involved, this is very simple. Everything that you should do is in the best interests of the child. To lose a child that you had with a partner that you're no longer with, regardless of any bad blood or anything, to not contact them immediately. I don't care if you haven't spoken to them in 10 years, 20 years, to not be the one that contacts them immediately to inform them and talk to them and tell them what is like, I can't fathom that. You know what I mean? Like, that is just again, this is showing these character flaws that to me are just alarm bells when it comes to Chantel and Chris. Are they the best together? I don't really know, because they seem to be causing a lot of issues between their families, quite frankly, from everything that I'm seeing. Mind you, again, my opinion from what I am seeing contextually and all the pieces of the puzzle. That's what I feel. Now, on social media, there were a couple of screenshots that I did grab of some things that were being said online. And this one here shows that somebody who was on the cruise afterwards had a comment. They said it was a stepmom's son. "We were on that ship right after that cruise came in. The FBI were right outside my friend's room. He has pictures of a blonde-haired kid in handcuffs. Also, the FBI taking out boxes and boxes and putting them in a van." And again, this correlates with other reports that people did see a blonde-haired teen in handcuffs. Now, the uncle, Martin Donahue, was on social media with another comment. Somebody said they will get to the bottom of this, and Martin replied, "Yes, they will. And when they release who did this murder, everyone will be so surprised and wonder, when did the stepmom know, and why did she wait till November 20th to release all the information and the minors involved?" There was another comment saying the stepbrother did it. They were seen at the movies fighting. Now, there's one last piece that I want to bring up that I found in the court records while I was going through things, and this is in the Brevard County court records. This was a civil case that was brought against Chantel Hudson, and it seems to be from a family member, possibly in Thomas Hudson's side of the family. Now, the civil case was essentially regarding this individual was trying to get possession back of items they had. It was 4 pew-pews that Chantel apparently took. It was quite a variety of them. Those details don't matter when it comes to this, because that isn't what stood out to me. Now, in this civil case, there's a lot of documentation where it comes to proof of this individual, trying to ask Chantel for these things back, saying that there's witnesses that have seen her with these items, um, you know, certified mail receipts, and all of that for proof of a civil case of that you've tried to contact them, they're not returning your goods. She's suing for either the items back or a monetary value of the items if she wasn't going to return them. As well as, I'm pretty sure there's some, legal issues with somebody having pew-pews that are not registered to them, correct? What stood out to me was one of the items of evidence or proof that this individual reached out to Chantel. This was first, let's say, this was filed in June of 2024. And there's an email that showed that, they tried to communicate with Chantel in May of 2024. And this is just another piece that speaks a lot to the character and maybe some context of these deep layers going on within this family, of things that changed. And let me know what you think for yourself after I read this. So this email just starts off saying that, "Hello, Chantel, I've been made aware that you have my pew-pews in your possession and your address." And they simply state that they want to try to arrange to pick them up. And she says, feel free to call, text, or email me with the time and location for pickup, or I am willing to meet with an officer at the end of the drive to avoid Chris Kepner's trespass warning issued last month. Again, few words, very small details. There's nothing there to expand on that, but it does kind of allude to something deeper going on between families, Chantel's families, Thomas Hudson, and such, right? Now, the important thing is the paragraph I'm about to read now, and I'd love to know your thoughts on it. She follows up by saying, thank you. Please give two minor children names all our love. We all have loved and missed them dearly. It is absolutely a very sad and heartbreaking ordeal that they have been placed in. They should in no way be hurt or manipulated the way that they have. I know as well as you know that they love their father very much, and they are absolutely in no fear of him or were not in fear of him prior to you manipulating, controlling, and brainwashing them for the past month. It's devastating and upsetting. Please stop, step back, and look at what's best for these kids. They need their family. I don't understand why you feel displacing them from their family, displacing them from friends, school. Everything they loved and knew is helpful to them when clearly it has done nothing but damage them. I pray everyone gets help, including yourself. I never thought the day would come that you would become the person you've become. That is simply the person you've despised growing up yourself. Please get help. You know firsthand how hurtful it is when your parent manipulates family members to keep them out of your life. You said yourself, you blocked 10 years of your childhood because of what your mother did. Please, God, do not do that to my grandchildren, your children. Thomas's children need the entire family. We all love them. Stop this craziness, please. So obviously, I clearly kind of gave it away there. It is a grandmother. And she did just end it with, this is a reminder that you're in possession. This was a later email because I don't think she replied, of my pew-pews in order to avoid charges for being in possession of my stolen property. I have multiple witnesses that you have these pew-pews. So I'm requesting you bring them tomorrow with you to court and hand them over at the courthouse, or we can meet at the sheriff's office before court. So she really tried to honestly just, when it comes to the case, get her items back. Now, this was, in the end, the actual case seems to have some kind of dismissal. I don't know if it was because it seemed like there was an issue with maybe serving Chantel, like at a correct address or something like that. Regardless, that wasn't what stood out. What stood out to me was the paragraph that this grandmother wrote to Chantel and stuff that was going on with the kids, that she's taking away from things. She's changed. She's different. She's not the same. The kids, it's not a good situation for the kids and such. And mind you, yes, this isn't a civil case as, proof of evidence that she tried to reach out. However, like I said, this says to me, this shows character stuff. This email was essentially originally written in confidence as a personal note. And I think when you write something personal like that, it has a lot of meaning and it's coming from the heart. You can kind of hear like the pleading in it, like, just don't do what happened to you, whatever that was. We don't know. We don't know. But to me, it highlights there's the layers going on across the family scape here. The unfortunate part is it is overshadowing now Anna's unfortunate early death and things moving forward. I'm still mind boggled that Christopher, her biological father, has almost not chosen her first. I think it's like he chose Chantel and her son. And I don't know, as a parent, I get mixed families can be difficult, things can be complicated. But how do you not stand up for, protect, and speak out for your daughter, your firstborn daughter? I don't get it. You're the father. That is your responsibility. So the whole that's what I had to show. That was something I found. I'm sure I'm not done researching this. There's more. I'm sure there will be more. And I'm sure more will come out tomorrow as well. Tomorrow's the 20th, and see what happens. It's sad all around. An innocent. I still want. I know she's a woman because she's 18, but to me, it's still a child. She's still in high school. She didn't get to graduate. She didn't get to go on with her life. She's never going to get to join. She wanted to join the military. She's never going to get married. She'll never get to have a family. She had all these things taken away from her, and that's not okay. That wasn't fair. And then to give around the runaround to family members and to try to cover this up is heartbreaking and disappointing and sad. Um, I hope they do better. I don't know what else to say. I hope they can do better, and I hope Anna gets the justice that she deserves. And I hope as well. I don't know what happened, right? Because 16 years old, the stepbrother, that is so young as well. His life is gone as well. So all around, this whole situation is terrible. It's a mess, and it's devastating. Um, I think the most important thing is to stop covering things up and maybe show some care for Anna Kepner, who's the one that passed. I hope that she can be put at the center of this and as the priority. That all went on longer than I planned. Um, Sometimes I can just go and go, but yeah, this upset me. I mean, from day one, the red flags. I just, when you didn't want to know, but it's like you knew something was not right with this, and something wasn't right. So let me know your thoughts. I'm really curious your thoughts. If your family member that you somehow wind up here again, I am a very tiny channel right now, but um, I'm curious to know your thoughts. If anybody ever wants to come forward, whether you were there on the cruise or a family member, and you also want to be anonymous, by all means, I'm all for protecting people and their identities if they want to come forward with the truth. Um, my channel is called The Light because, as I like to say, everything in the dark always comes to the light. And I fully believe that. And that's why it's just not worth hiding these things. So if anybody feels like they have something they want to add to this is a safe place to do it. Um, and I just think it's important to remember the person at the end of this, and that is Anna. So may her memory and her life that she lived and the impact she made on her friends and all of them, I hope they get a chance to celebrate that tomorrow at her celebration of life. Again, thank you all for staying here and listening to everything that I had to show, that I came up with, that I was able to find. And I will keep updated on this case and many others. If this is stuff that you're interested in keeping on top of, this type of news or true crime, as hard as it is sometimes, I do this. I try to look at things from a perspective of empathy, truth, and honesty, and a voice for the victim, and looking at the victim as more than a victim, but as somebody that had a story to tell, and that needs to be told. They're more than how they left this earth, as I say. It is how they lived it. And Anna lived a beautiful life for the short time that she was here. She made an impact. And that is amazing because there's a lot of people that get to old age and may not leave an impact like she did. So thank you for tuning into the light. Don't forget, everything that's done in the dark will always come to the light. Thank you, and I will see you on the next one.